Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly Oracle Wisdom. My name is Natalie Sadie. I would like to apologize to everybody for not, um, sorry, I'm just changing the screen that I'm looking at, for not being here live yesterday. Sorry, my brain still isn't working properly, and I'm just moving things around so I can see if anyone is in the chat. Yesterday, as I mentioned in the High Vibe community, I did put it up in the community here on the chat. It was a bit of a rough day. I was busy taking care of different people for various different reasons, surgeries, and one of my best friends, her dog, sadly passed away in her arms. So it was all just a little bit it was all just a little bit much yesterday, and I kind of needed a break. And today has been a little bit slow. I was meant to be here hours ago, but you know what? It's the last full day of Mercury retrograde, and man, am I going to be glad when this one is over. So let's get into it. As always, I'm starting with the Ascending Life Oracle deck by Mahrukh, my favorite deck in the world. Okay, so the unseen, working behind the scenes, not seeing the full picture, the blessings you don't see, magic happening behind the scenes. I think, and I was just talking about Mercury retrograde, but we're definitely in a moment in time where everything feels frustrating and like nothing is actually moving. And I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes that maybe we haven't seen. So, or that we're not seeing yet. But just because we're not seeing it doesn't mean that it's not happening. You know, there are moments where everything sort of seems to come together and we may not be aware of what's going on behind the scenes, but it doesn't mean that it's not happening. So you have to trust that things are quietly ticking along. I always keep getting the vision of you may not know people are talking about you, but they are. And I don't mean that in a bad way in terms of people are backstabbing or anything like that, but I mean people might be recommending you for a job or trying working hard to set you up on a date or something to that effect, and you have no idea. So get ready for surprises. The other thing is, are you working quietly on something that, and I've been saying this a lot, people don't always need to know every move that you're going to make. Are you working on something that the rest of the world isn't seeing yet? We've been getting repeating cards over the last few weeks, month. So we've got another one: reconciliation, restoration of former connections, apologies, forgiveness, texting again in a different way, in conversations. I mean, to me, this brings up Mercury retrograde things, you know, people from our past coming through and coming back to have conversations. And reconciliation doesn't necessarily mean getting into a relationship with these people again, but having those conversations, getting closure is, you know, that's reconnecting in a really good and positive way. Sometimes it's hard to move on from something when we don't have that closure, when we don't understand why something played out in a certain way. So sometimes when they come back into our lives, it's not always a bad thing. And sometimes as well, it's a good thing to be able to allow them to come back, just to be able to sort of be in a position of power and say, you don't hold that power over me anymore. I'm in control of my life. You don't get to decide. Um, and again, forgiveness is an incredible thing. And people always think, I don't want to forgive that person because of what they've done to me. Forgiveness isn't always about making something better for them, but it's about making something better for you, letting go of something that you're hanging on to that isn't, you know, isn't good, isn't healthy. So just keep that in mind. It's not always bad when they come back. Death, inevitable end, big transformation, shedding required, dead end. So while yesterday I was literally dealing with death, the death card doesn't always mean the death of someone or something if it's an animal. Literally, it's not the necessary, it's not necessarily losing a soul in our life, but inevitable end, and big transformation. I love the death card for this reason, because it means that something is coming to an end, but it always leads to better things that are coming in, new things to come in that maybe we didn't know we needed or wanted, or something that we really did want, but you've got to shed the rest of the things to make space for whatever it is coming in. So there's an ending of something coming through. Embrace it. I'm so happy to have Anne in the chat. I thought that maybe you might have fallen asleep on me. We were texting just before I started this reading, and she was telling me she was fading fast. So, okay. Oh, all right. Hang on, no. I always, just for the record, find that the very beginning and very end of Mercury retrograde, when Mercury's stationed, is always the hardest part of all of this. I find that's what messes with me more than everything. Although this past Mercury retrograde has been a bit of a doozy. So the next card is relocation, a change in the home, moving to a new locations, plans to relocate, and relocating for work. So to me, this is an exciting card because I want to move. But so it looks like there is movement coming in, and it makes sense that there's movement because with Mercury starting to move forward, things hopefully should start moving in a better way where it doesn't feel, I guess, clunky would be the word that I would use, where it doesn't feel like we're stopping and starting and almost like the engine's sputtering. So I mean, this could be work. I mean, this is very apt considering this is the last week that the High Vibe Studio, as we know it in its current incarnation, is coming to an end. And that whole thing is moving to a new location. So exciting. We are all super stoked about what's coming next and the rejuvenation of it in so many different ways. But it looks like we've all got a little bit of movement coming in for us. And it's perfect that that card comes up straight after. It helps if I use both hands. Straight after the death card, the ending of something, and then all of a sudden there's a relocation. So again, I love moving. Hated it when I was a kid, hated the thought of being uprooted and feeling unstable in my home environment. But now, oh, I love packing up my life because it forces me to clean things out and get rid of things. I love being somewhere new and nesting and doing all of that. And even a change in terms of a work location is great just because it's new energy. Things flow differently when you are in a new space. So sometimes, even if it's a forced move, the universe is doing that for us for a reason because we need that shift. I said that cards keep coming up round and round. Are we still on this merry-go-round? So once again, we repeat the patterns until we recognize the pattern that we're in and we're able to release what it is we're hanging on to, or the bad habits that keep us going round and around and around. Now, hopefully, with each time you're going round in this circle, you are learning lessons how to navigate this path a little bit better. So just to read the text that's on the card, not applying lessons learned, unhealthy patterns on repeat, unable to let go of the past, repeating an old story. So are you hanging on to something from the past, or are you diving back into something that isn't going to serve you? So there is a difference between allowing someone to come back in, have the conversations, work through what it is you need to, and then there's a difference between that and diving back in and doing the same thing all over again and ending up in exactly the same place. So make sure you're not doing that. I mean, this card, seriously, again, it's 100 deck of cards. And the fact that this card each and every week seems to be jumping out, seems like a few of us are stuck on the merry-go-round. All right. I was going to do one more, but I think I might do two before we move on. I feel like that first card unseen, it's part of what's going on in the background, which is leading to things coming to an end and then the relocation. And then this card is business, work, entrepreneurship, career moves, working on your career success, earning money through work. So it's time to get busy, time to get back to things. And I know Mercury has been throwing some spanners in the work and just creating general mayhem in getting things done. But from tomorrow or from later today, or has it already gone direct? I was sure it was the 27th, but maybe I kept saying the 27th and it's actually the 28th. Regardless, Mercury is moving. We're not going to have the holdups that we've been having. So it's time to focus on that. So this card hasn't come up in a few months, but between worlds, torn between two paths, space between the old and the new, trying to balance your two lives in transit. So, something's ending, we're relocating, and I don't know if you're feeling torn between two different worlds or two different spaces, or maybe you're trying to sort of toe the line between, maybe you're trying to toe the line because you're trying to keep the safety net before you fully step into this new space and this new world for you. So if it's just that at the moment you're tidying up things as things are ending, um, that's fine. But if you're keeping a foot in the old world while you're trying to step into the new, that's going to hold you up. It's going to stop progress. It's going to stop you from being able to fully experience all the incredible things that are coming in with the new. So just take the leap, and step into everything new that is being presented to you. Thank you, Ronnie. So 2:14, he's saying tomorrow, but I assume that means today because it's 12:56 as we're doing this reading. So it's Wednesday now, isn't it? Yes, I've lost all sense of day and time. So 2:14 Pacific time, Mercury will be direct. Praise be. Okay, so we are using, or I am using, the Spirit Animal Oracle. This is in honor of Kelsey, who we lost yesterday, and Kelsey was just such a perfect, perfect girl. Sandpiper Spirit, be playful. The world's a lot at the moment. Everybody's stuck on politics, which I completely understand. With the election coming up, people have very strong thoughts and feelings and all of that. And I think it's very easy to forget that we need to enjoy life. People are getting really stressed about arguments that are happening online, things people are saying, the way certain people feel about things. And the reality is we have to let it all go and just enjoy the moment. Stop getting stuck in stupid arguments with people that are not going to hear your point of view. Stop worrying about the future because you're worrying about something that hasn't happened and things that we don't know are going to happen. And stop stressing about the past because you can't change it. All you can do is do better right now and moving forward. So enjoy the beautiful things that are in front of you, have fun, make a point of letting go of the things that are stressing you out to take joy in this moment. If you're creating the stress, you can let go of all of that and worry about things as they come up, as you need to deal with them. There's no point stressing yourself out and not enjoying life when there's nothing you can do about things that haven't happened yet. Oh, okay. Cards are flying about. Yes. So Kimberly has confirmed it is today at 2:14. And happy birthday, Tasha. Tasha is how I want to say it. I like this card that's come up. Koala spirit. Spirit has a plan. Spirit does have a plan. We all come here and we choose the life that we're going to live and the challenges that we're going to face. We all do that before we get here, and it's always easier when we're planning it before we actually get here. But spirit is always supporting us. There is a grand plan, and we have to trust it. And so often our logical minds, well, first of all, we disconnect from spirit. Because we forget where we came from. And that's why it's so important to ground and to meditate and do things that bring us back to spirit and put us back in that connection. But we also don't trust that the universe and spirit has us. And we have to remember that, because working and guiding us and setting things up for us for our higher good, all things that we don't see. So remember that when you're stressing out. I'm going to do two more of these before I go to the last deck. All right. So we have frog spirit, clear out the clutter. So when you've got a clear workspace, your mind is clear and it's easier to work. So if you're finding yourself surrounded by a whole lot of stuff and junk and just mess, it's time to get to work, clear it all out, make it easy to think and to connect. And also, when there's clutter, it always feels like there's a million things to do. You've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to. When it's a clean space, you can just sit and be and focus on what's actually important. So make sure you clear the clutter out. All right. And last one of these, buffalo spirit, the abundant universe will provide. I mean, I don't think I really need to say anything here. It's essentially confirmation of everything that I said when we were talking about the koala spirit. The universe has us. It has all of us. It's up to us whether we listen or whether we fight against it. And let me tell you, when you choose to go with it as opposed to fighting against it, life's a lot easier. The ride is a lot smoother. And often we then get the answers as to why certain things are happening when we trust the universe and sort of dive in. Okay, so we are finishing up with Keepers of the Light Oracle cards, which are a Kyle Gray deck. I was feeling very oh my gosh, connected to spirit earlier, and this was why I felt like I needed to use this deck. I don't think I've used it on here before, but I really do enjoy it. So, faith, humanity, and benevolence. Stay calm, trust the good in yourself and others, see the light in the world. So, it's up to you. You're in control of your responses, you're in control of your actions. You cannot control anything else. But if you focus on the negativity and if you focus on people that are saying hateful things and fighting and all these different things, that's the energy that you're going to get back. So if you focus on the light, if you focus on the good, that is what is going to reflect back to you. And that is the space that you're going to exist in. So you have to remember to stay in that space. I mean, I feel like this reading is so much about connecting with spirit and having complete faith in the journey that you're on and on the path that you're on as well. All right. Lady Venus, this is a very feminine reading. Downloads and understanding. Truth is being revealed. Deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral realm. So, and look, for some reason in the last 24 hours, all I've been reading about is upgrades and downloads and things like that. So it makes me wonder if that's part of why I'm so spacey. And I know other people have been feeling exhausted today. I think there's a lot of I feel like the veil has been lifted between worlds in the last 24 hours, and there really is a deep connection to spirit. So it's a perfect time to focus on your own light work and your own connection and build that, strengthen your gifts, listen to the messages that are coming through, because it seems like there's a whole lot of messages coming through. And I talk all the time about dreams. The dreams are just wild at the moment. They're just nonstop. I know it sounds like I say that a lot. My dreams are always weird, but there are moments in time where they just hit another level and in a way that is very hard to describe, but it's what it is. And that's what's going on at the moment. All right, let's do one more. So the last card is Horus. Horus, Cosmic Gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. So once again, and I often feel like this with the last deck that I pull, that it really ends up being more of a confirmation of what the rest of the reading has been. Your thoughts are magical and powerful. You have complete control over how this journey goes. So don't get lost in all the bullshit and all the fear that is they're trying to pump into us nonstop, especially on the mainstream media. I was talking with somebody earlier today, and they asked something about some of the news stories. So we went through a couple of the news organizations and the headlines, and it was nothing but fear mongering. And for people that don't have that connection to spirit, that don't work on being grounded and connected, I can see how they get lost in this fear, and how the arguments that they have with people online become so full of vitriol because they're terrified based on what they're being fed. But when you focus on things that are beautiful and light and positive and having constructive conversations with people, it can change the energy that you exist in, and it can change the energy that these people are existing in as well. So you get to choose your own adventure. Um, I hope this reading has resonated with some of you, if not all of you. As I always say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I get it. Not every reading is for every person. I think there's a very clear message that we're repeating patterns, and, it's time to get moving, and it's time to step into this new world. And it's very clear that the world that we're living in is a reflection of what we're focusing on. So make sure you focus on the good and the light and the positive, and how you can create positive change in this world, not only for yourself and your family, but for the wider community, because your actions create ripples that reach far beyond you. And I think it's so important to remember that. Now, Sunday is the 1st of September. So I will be doing my monthly oracle reading. I was thinking of doing things a little bit differently this month, and I was thinking of doing a pick a pile. So I'll have 3 piles laid out, and I'll give you guys a second, and you can pick which pile you feel resonates with you, and then I'll obviously do the reading. Just so you all know, I don't have a camera, so I can actually show you the layout as it is in front of me. But what I can do is lift each of the piles up and show you what I've got. It's the only way I can do it at this moment in time. Moving forward, maybe I'll be in a position where I can change that. But let me know if that's something that you would like, or if you'd rather it be a reading sort of similar to this and how I've been doing it. Would love your feedback. And of course, the monthly reading is only available on YouTube. So I think that's everything I need to tell you all. For those of you that don't already know and are interested, there is my latest story, which is home birth versus hospital birth. The full interview, which is 2 hours, 20 minutes, is up on my Rumble channel. I did do a shorter version of the interview, which is available on YouTube. I couldn't post the interview in its entirety because we did not hold back when we were discussing everything, and I didn't want a violation on my channel. So I've put a sample there. It's still really informative. It's just not the entire conversation. So that's available. There will be another interview dropping, which is about some bee wars between some beekeepers happening in New Zealand. That'll be dropping in the next few days as well. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone that joined me live here on YouTube. I'm sorry I couldn't go live on High Vibe, but I'm doing it on my own, and this is the only way at this moment that I know how to do it. So I will see you all on Sunday for the monthly reading for September. Have a great week, everyone, and thank you again for your patience yesterday. Bye.